Hey, Tony, do you know why Superman tells jokes why he's flying and running around everywhere?
No, I don't.
Because he's an action comic. It's the greatest DC comic show on YouTube. You made it to another Sunday evening with Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. I'm Ryan Magic Lasso, and it's fantastic to have you here as we also say hello to Tony Fett. Hi, Tony.
Hello, good sir.
Hey, how are you and how was your week?
Not too bad. Not too bad. Coming back from visiting the Midwest, so it's good to be back.
That's awesome. It's good to have you back.
Where the internet works.
Yes, fingers crossed. I've done something differently that should, hopefully not cause some technical problems for me anymore.
Looking good, man. Crystal clear, HD.
I know I'm just waiting for the online petition to start. No, I can see him too clearly. Go back, blur them up, blur them up.
Go back to 420p.
Yeah. I would love to say hello to the rest of the fanboys, but they're not here.
Right.
Now, Tim has a doctor's excuse. Well, really not a doctor's excuse, but he's on extended absence. Now, that Comic Fu 2814, though, I seem to remember earlier this week in the private chat, I'll be there this week. And then all of a sudden, bing, bang, boom. No, I'm not coming. I think he's going to Iowa, and you were just in Iowa. So is this like the people that follow Godzilla to clean up afterwards, or what's this deal?
Who knows? But when you said Tim had an excuse from the doctor, I thought you were going to announce that Comic Fu had an excuse from his vet.
Oh, from his vet. That is good. We should be playing the match game. If you're watching at home on the Rewind, we certainly do appreciate you joining us for Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. We'll be acknowledging folks that are in the chat starting right now. Very first to show up to say howdy to us was I Collect a Lot. So what's up to you? Good to see you. We haven't seen Christy in a little bit, but she's back joining us. So nice to see you as well. Hope you had a nice weekend. Nerdy Punk Rocker 86. Yo, what up to you? So thanks for stopping by for Fanboys Live and the Retro Review. Same thing to Stephen M. Glad that you're here too. We'll be getting into our Retro Review in a little bit, but Paul S. has joined us for this live show as well. And my friend, your friend, the YouTube comic book community's friend, Super Russ 9000 is here.
Who just celebrated 5 years on YouTube today. So
that is awesome. So
hats off to him.
Like I said, we'll mention more folks that are popping in as they jump in. But if you're joining us on the Rewind, certainly appreciate you wanting to spend your time on Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. So, Tony, we usually kick off the show talking about specifically DC Comics news. But before we get into the DC Comics news, let's talk a little bit about the acetate cover and an update from that, even though that's not a DC Comics related story from C2E2 last weekend in Chicago.
Yeah. So for those of you who have been on a media blackout, some drama unfolded at C2E2 in Chicago. They released an acetate cover only, if that makes any sense. They added a cover to the Ultimate Fallout 4 facsimile, a book that I'll probably never own, but I understand it has a significance in the comic book community. It is a key first appearance of Miles Morales, I believe. Mm-hmm. So definitely valuable. So a facsimile was released, which is cool.
We should add an unauthorized facsimile.
Now, I'm talking about the regular facsimile first.
Okay.
Yeah. So a facsimile was released, to LCSs across America.
Yes.
A reprint, which is great. It's a great opportunity for young readers to get introduced to some of these characters like Miles Morales that might not be able to get their hands on a first appearance. So Black Flag Comics I think that's a brand. You know what I mean? I don't have a whole lot of experience with them. So they released an acetate cover, their own cover. Like Lasso said, it did not receive the blessing from Marvel or Disney, however you want to look at it. This was completely unauthorized, and the artist on that was
Clayton Crane.
Clayton Crane. I almost said Clayton Can. I knew it was Clayton something. But yeah, so what they did is they took this facsimile that anyone could have bought and added their own cover to a reprinted facsimile. Sure, cool, I guess. Honestly, probably it never would have been that big a deal, in my opinion, except, you know, all these popular social media comic book community influencers skipped the line and bought almost all of them and immediately put them up for sale and whatnot, which is bad. Whatnot was in a whole bunch of hot water after it. And then CGC started to get involved, and this is where it really took a left turn for me. CGC, they were all coming back 9.9s, 9.9s, 9.10s, 9.9s, you know, which is unusual.
Yes.
Because many ways, the most obvious ways, because they had to add their own staples to the spine of the book to get the cover to attach. So you're already adding in staples that aren't from a factory. So that's, and in CGC's grading, the way they grade books, like you know, like a how-to, it talks about staples and how that would affect the grade. So technically this book should have not even come back like higher than a 9, or even an 8 for that matter. I'm giving a little bit of leeway because I'm not sure how CGC grading it, but you know, obviously this spread like wildfire. I mean, we're still talking about it, so this is how relevant it is. Everyone was really upset, and they had every right to be. And CGC, their first response to this was really short and simple, and in my opinion, pretty unprofessional. They just said, "We understand what we did, and we stand behind, you know, our decision." That's great. They have every right to do that, but what they should have done is said why. Not, hey, we stand behind it because we're CGC and we'll do whatever we want. They should have said, hey, we're going to stand behind it because X, Y, and Z. I'm going to pop a... Oh, maybe not. So could you... Let me share my screen here for just a second. So CGC... Where is it? Right there. So CGC changes the policy on these covers. And we get down here into the goodies of it. So this is pretty fresh news. So the additional cover had to be created by an established artist in the industry. Fine. The comic cover to which the cover was attached had to obtain cover by the same artist. Sure. A copy of the comic with the attached cover had to be submitted for us for the inspection pride, which, from what I understand, none of this happened. But CGC, I guess, was already talking to a lot of these people, and they were aware what was going to happen. And CGC's defense is they were using, was it stray dogs? Because they had an acetate cover. But it was very different in the way. I know I'm kind of beating a dead horse, but long story short, multiple levels of failure here. In my personal opinion, I think the biggest level of failure here is on CGC for being pretty hypocritical when it comes to grading an acetate cover. What do you think, Lasso? I know you're not really a graded comic guy, but I mean, you're still a member of this community.
That is pretty hypocritical after eBay has already gone out and said, if you try to sell this on our platform, that's a counterfeit comic book. That's not allowed. God
bless eBay. I know a lot of, nobody says that often, but.
And the other grading services are like, yeah, not touching that comic book.
Yep.
Certainly CGC is at fault. Black Flag is at more fault than anybody else. First of all, you don't decide who is deemed worthy enough to skip a line and buy multiple copies when there's other people in line who can't get a copy? You don't do that.
Amen. Amen.
Everybody's money spends the same. Also, they changed the price during the show, which I actually think is illegal. If you advertise a price that it's going to be something ahead of time, and then during the show,
I didn't know that. What was the price versus what they were advertising it for?
They changed it from, I think, $79.99 to $100 during the show, which I don't think legally you can do.
Yeah, that's not good.
Yeah. Shame on them. Shame on them to these so-called influencers. So you can walk up ahead of the people that made you an influencer who can't buy a copy now, so you can buy 75 to 150 copies.
Yeah,
that doesn't fly with me. No one's better than anyone else. Get in line.
Get in line. Especially, it really sucks though. Imagine all those people that were waiting in line for 45 minutes. Let's say an hour. Let's say you're in line for an hour, and all of a sudden, I'm not going to name names. I'm trying to stay neutral. Bob and his comic crew come and cut the line and buy all the freaking comics, and had they not done that, you were guaranteed an issue, and now not so much.
Yeah, so you lose time out of the convention where you could have been doing something that you enjoyed instead of just blatantly, and I'm going to say it since it's my channel, being screwed over.
Absolutely.
But in a nutshell, that's what it is. If you want to learn more about this, there are plenty of other videos to look. But Burke Family 54 Comics did a great live feed on it and had some interesting, from someone who sells on the Whatnot platform and their experience with that at C2E2, Comic Man Andy. And that was a very good live feed that I do recommend you check out if you want to learn more about the situation.
I know that Whatnot is also in some hot water too, for whatever reason. I know there's a big push back on them from the community. I'm not sure as to why. They're just a platform.
Well, I think that they all got together ahead of time and decided that we're going to make this the hot book, as I heard it called, the pump and dump hot book of C2E2. And since we all decided it, we're going to be the ones who are going to make the money off of it.
Oh, well, that changes things. But shame on the whole process. But if I got to point the finger and say you're the worst offender, I'm going to go ahead and point it at CGC ever so slightly, because
no, I'm going for Black Flag all the way. First of all, you had a whole bunch of comic books that you couldn't sell on its own merit, so you stapled a fake cover on top of it to make a gimmick, and then you got a whole bunch of other people involved to pump your gimmick, and then you have the nerve to say, oh, we're going to do this with 2 other books at next week's con with separate lines, because some people apparently are better than other people. That don't fly with
separate lines.
Oh yeah, there were separate lines at the Boston Comic Con.
For what?
For influencers and then everybody else.
Oh geez. Listen,
and people that were influencers could buy more than everybody else. My money spends the same as theirs. So
that's absolutely absurd.
Don't see anything of Black Flags that I personally will ever find the need to shop for again.
Yeah, I agree. To heck with the American flags on the cover were wrong. Finally, someone else is singing the same song I am.
Yeah,
the guy clearly
I
never
don't want
looked.
the stream to be entirely about this, and it's not even a DC book, but it's worth acknowledging. So
it's worth acknowledging. But yeah, I agree. But yeah, a separate line, like way to kick everyone in the pants that bought a ticket to that convention.
Yeah.
If I was head of that convention, I would just say, listen, Black Flag, you have too much controversy behind you. We don't think you should be able to set up a table at our convention, but yeah. It is what it is.
Though? How come I'm not seeing any of these influencers saying, you know what? I have as many followers as I have because of people that are in line right now. Why don't you influencers say, no, that's because it benefits them, because it makes their life easier. because it makes them more money. So you're going to use, see, I'm getting on my soapbox now. You're going to use the person, people that gave you this platform and smack them right in the face. Doesn't fly with me.
Yeah. They should cancel Black Flag. But I'm gonna point the finger at CGC and say, listen, you're supposed to be the professional here. A lot of people look to you to set standards in these things. And here you are contradicting yourself. So now you have this blemish on your record.
Not the first.
Not the first. Is it going to be the last? Probably not.
Keep in mind, CGC is the same company that, based on feedback from their prominent members, that's the same thing. It's the same thing as saying there's an influencer line and then there's you.
Yep. I remember that.
Yeah.
That hurts. You're right. I forgot all about that. Shame.
I'm
shame
not
on
going to
everybody.
forget about it.
Shame on everybody. This whole thing is just absolutely ridiculous, and everyone involved. Has anybody apologized?
I don't think so. People don't apologize for their actions, especially when they're wrong.
I apologize all the time because I'm a donut for a lot of things. And
ooh, donuts sound good tonight. Hey, Desired Comics Nigel stopped by to see us. That's awesome. Mars Comics is here, and Jean Malo is here as well.
But I agree. I don't want to turn this stream into just talking about this. There's a lot of other news out there too. But yeah,
should
check
we turn
it out.
To the DC news now.
Yes, let's turn to DC news.
So one thing that I'll kick it off if you don't.
Sure, go for it.
So DCComics.com. You been there lately?
DCComics.com? I have not. Let's go.
Type in DCComics.com.
Oh, jeez.
Hey, Simply Incredible podcast. Thanks for stopping by.
All right, I'm here.
Okay, now where does your browser tell you you're at?
DCComics.com.
Really? Because when I did it on my browser, it's DC.com.
Oh, DC.com. Okay, yeah.
So the comics portion is being phased out, apparently. I don't mean comic books are being phased out. I'm just saying that in Discovery's branding, that DC.com is DCComics.com.
Sure, I understand. But I mean, I understand bringing it all in one house. That makes sense to me. One-stop shop for absolutely everything. That I can see that. I don't want 12 websites, one for comics, one for movies, one for games.
I just think it's an interesting branding move.
Yeah.
So
absolutely interesting. I agree, but I was waiting for something stupid like the Harley Quinn takeover. I was waiting for it. Oh. I'm just so used to you guys doing that to me. I guess now every time it's like, hey, did you do that? Like, okay, here we go.
So what everyone was wondering last week is, will you continue to listen to Lady Gaga music?
I don't think I listen to Lady Gaga music, so I know my wife does.
Okay. Is that okay for her to continue doing that?
So I thought that was rumor. Is that?
It's confirmed.
Confirmed? That's
true? And it's
true?
confirmed by Lady Gaga.
I'll give it a shot. It's a DC movie. I'll give it a shot. I don't know if I'm going to pay for it. I'll wait for it to hit like HBO Max or something, but it's a different take on a character. So we'll see. Hey,
Biggie Shack, salute.
Biggie.
I think Biggie's on tomorrow. I think he's on Comic Gory, so make sure to go over and support him. I'm glad you liked the thumbnail. We'll be diving into the Legion of Superheroes as our retro review after we wrap up the news portion.
I love Gaga. I love Harley. I don't love Gaga as Harley. I agree. I don't know. But then again, a lot of people are saying the same thing about Margot Robbie. I'm not a fan of Harley Quinn, but I think Margot Robbie's portrayal of Harley Quinn, in my opinion, fits awesome in the Suicide Squad. Sure. She does great in the 2 Suicide Squad movies. That's cool. I like that. But Lady Gaga, I imagine they're going to go the darker route, like Joaquin Phoenix Joker. Probably. I can't see Lady Gaga, as a Margot Robbie-esque type.
Hello, Black Swamp Comics. Hope you're doing well.
But is this taking place? Is it a standalone thing? Like, I don't know.
This is Joker 2.
Oh, in Joker 2, this is Harley
Mhm.
Quinn.
Yeah.
Oh.
And
Going to be a musical, I
potentially
think.
it might be a musical. That's been talked about as well. So
Why? Whose idea what seriously, it's like DC puts out a vote and says, "Hey fans, what do you think?" And they all say no, and DC's like, "To hell with you, we're going to do it anyway." Oh geez. Yeah,
hey
Gaga's
Jason,
playing.
thanks for joining us.
You're right. But I love the Suicide Squad Harley. She's my favorite. But
Okay.
I can't believe Lady Gaga. I mean, good for her, I think it's smart. I don't know how good of a casting it is, but it's a smart cast because people are talking about it. It's going to pique people's curiosity, and you know what? People are going to buy tickets just to see it.
She's not a bad actress.
I don't think I've ever seen anything with her in
Okay,
it.
she's
so
not
I'm
a bad
sure.
actress.
Okay, well,
Mhm.
it's an interesting cast. People
Mhm.
are going to buy tickets just because of who's playing Lady Gaga. So
Yeah.
we'll see.
She's better than Madonna as an actress, maybe not as good as Cher.
Recast Cher as Lady Gaga, or no, recast Cher as Harley Quinn, but old lady Harley,
Old
the
Lady
movie
Harley.
starring Cher.
Yeah, but all of Cher's parts aren't old. Hey,
That's
Bear
true. Some of
Island
them are
Adam.
new.
Thanks for stopping by.
That's true.
So, what other
Crazy.
DC news is there? I know we can talk about
There's.
Ezra Miller.
Do we talk about? Yeah, I was just gonna say, DC Warner Brothers apparently contemplating flat out canceling the Flash altogether. I hope they don't.
So, according to the Hollywood Reporter, they did a story on this because Ezra Miller's problems just continued to increase. Anyway, apparently there are 3 options that they say are on the table, according to Hollywood Reporter. Option number 1 is Ezra gets treatment and then later down the road does some type of TV interview to explain his erratic behavior. And hopefully that smooths everything over. Option number 2 is he doesn't get treatment. They still release the film, but he does no promotional press work for it at all. Option number 3 is they flat out shelf the film. And supposedly that is the final resort and they don't want to go to that level. According to the Hollywood Reporter, they've been told that he's ready to go to treatment. Is that accurate? I think we heard that sometime before, that
Yeah,
he was
months
ready to
ago.
go and he didn't.
Like, just go, dude.
Yeah.
I want to see this movie. I really do. And it's going to be confusing because from what I understand, the Flash movie kind of sets the pace going forward with the rest of the Aquaman 2, Shazam 2, potentially Black Adam. It was going to directly spill over to the Batgirl movie. That's no longer happening.
Yeah.
I agree that Warner Brothers needs one guy. They need a Kevin Feige to kind of a boss at the top. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And I don't know who's making the decisions up at the top of the DC Films portion of things, but I would say they're not doing good. Which is a great segue into the next little bit of news. There are down to just a few candidates for the Kevin Feige of DC. Who do you think it is?
Probably Jeff Johns.
He is one of the top few. Yeah. Yes.
Jim Lee.
No. Jeff Johns is the only comic book guy.
Okay.
He's the only one
Kevin Smith one of them?
Kevin Smith? No.
Okay. I just know he's a huge fan.
Yeah. It's between Jeff Johns, an unnamed person, and Greg Berlanti.
Oh.
The guy who's in charge of the Arrowverse at CW.
I don't think that Greg Berlanti himself does a bad job. The problem is he's hiring writers that drop the ball.
Yeah. Simply Incredible Podcast asked, I thought Jeff Johns was leading DC Comics. Movies, he was just like a consultant kind of role. He didn't really have a whole lot of, I think he was a producer. You know what I mean? Like he had some producing credits, but he didn't really have a whole lot of pull. I could be wrong, but that's what I understand. But Jeff Johns is back at DC Comics after they gave him the boot. And from what I understand, that was David Zaslav thing that he wanted to do, and it makes sense. The guy's absolute genius when it comes to writing books. But Greg Berlanti, I agree. I don't know if he's bad or just he makes terrible hires.
Yeah.
It sounds like he just makes terrible hires.
Hello to Cookie at Just a Little Podcast, who's joined us. I'll tell you something funny. Today I was on Just a Little Podcast, Cookie's Patreon page, and I was looking at it. And when I was on this page, it popped up and it said, this site uses cookies. And I thought, of course it does. It's Cookie. Uses cookies.
Do you accept cookies? Like, what kind? Yeah, gosh. I don't know what to say, but I don't know if I'm comfortable with Greg Berlanti. I know writing a universe for a TV channel is different than writing, universe for TVs.
Is it because he's a little too woke?
That I don't want to say yes, because I don't think that he is. I think the writers that he hired were. But this is a top spot. But I think David Zaslav isn't, and he's like the boss.
Now I did see a movie that several years ago that that Greg Berlanti did, that had nothing to do with superheroes or nothing like that. And the movie itself was good. It was very much like a throwback to the 1980s movies. And so he can do a good movie.
Yeah. Oh, I'm sure he can. He's in the business for a reason. He wouldn't be in the business if he was just god awful. It's not like he did the 2016 Ghostbusters remake. I mean, we'll never see him again.
Yeah.
I don't think he's that kind of a person. But Paul brings up a good point. Why don't they just go after Kevin Feige and throw him a boatload of money? Boy, wouldn't that just be if DC did that? They just liquidate so many assets and bring Kevin Feige over. I think it would be cool. But will it ever happen? Probably not.
Here's something else, though. And, you got me all fired up about that C2E2 talk earlier. So I'm just going to say it the way that I think it is, because I think it is this way. DC with their movies wants the same type of turnaround that Marvel had without laying all of the groundwork that Marvel did. Marvel spent a decade laying that groundwork. DC wants the exact same thing done in like 3 to 4 years. And I just don't think it works like that.
It can. You could do it. I couldn't do it. When I say you, I mean, it is possible to do that. If they do like 3 movies a year, they could set that up. I still think it's pushing it a little bit, but I mean, it certainly would have been better than what we got. We just had Man of Steel. We went straight into Batman v Superman, and then Justice League, I would agree that that's probably too fast. But I think they could have done much better without waiting as long. But I think at this point, DC realizes, I'm going to use the Amazon. Like, when companies say we're not trying to copy Amazon, like that's okay. You can copy Amazon. That's a good thing. Amazon is successful in its business. You want to be successful. DC says they don't want to copy Marvel. That's okay if they do. Marvel found a formula that works with audiences. It's going to translate the same, hopefully, for you, like the same kind of formula. Here's a standalone. Here's a standalone. Here's a maybe tease a little bit, another standalone, and bring everybody together. You know what I mean? That's okay. You can do it like that. I'd have no problem with DC doing it like that. I think it would work. If done properly, it would work. You could have Bruce Wayne be the Nick Fury of DC. He just goes around to all these characters and, hey, something's happening. We all need to team up, kind of thing. Or could be Martian Manhunter. You know what I mean? Is some kind of super top secret government guy. So we'll see. Only time will tell. But boy, I hope that someone is at DC is listening to the fans and what we want. You know what I mean?
Well, I would think they would be watching the show since it's the greatest DC comic show on YouTube.
It's pretty obvious what the fans want. They want Henry Cavill as Superman and not much else.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be pretty stupid to let him get away.
And Paul makes a good point too with his, when I read Paul's statement, I think of Wonder Woman 84. That movie should have been the George Perez Cheetah version of her origin. And that would have been amazing.
Can you imagine if they did like Justice League? They build up this great universe, and the Justice League movie is, Dark Side War. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like the Anti-Monitor, Dark Side, all those. Like we get that movie. Jessica Cruz gets introduced. Like, dude, how cool would that be? Yeah. And if you remember, what was that Justice League movie that where Darkseid comes? It's the animated one where it's the most recent one where they all meet for the first time. It's like a reboot. I can't remember what it was called, but God, that would have been a great movie. Yeah. They all meet, at the battle fighting the bad guys because they're all there. You know what I mean? Like, what do we do? That would have been awesome. But alas, DC, they continue to shoot themselves in the foot.
True. Is there any other DC news?
I think that's enough. We'll hop off the soapbox and leave it at that.
Now that you got me all fired up.
Right? Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, I want to see that as well, Stephen. I think that would have been awesome.
I think that's a great idea to get there. I mean, who knows? Maybe someday. What I don't want them to do is, pull a Fantastic Four and just hire a whole bunch of who's who for a Legion of Superheroes movie and just be hot garbage.
Yeah. So, Tony, why don't we transition over into the retro review? And I'll go first since I'm going to cover the first appearance of the Legion of Superheroes. But I'll talk a little bit before I add the book into the stream. I'll talk a little bit real briefly here. The Legion of Superheroes made their first appearance in Adventure Comics number 247. This came out in 1958. It would be 20 years. Excuse me, not 20 years. It would be 20 issues until their next appearance. So that's almost 2 years. And then you got to remember, this is a group of superheroes that would eventually headline the Action Comics run for a while. From like issue 300 to 380, they were the headliners. And then they got kicked back to backup status and it focused more on Supergirl. But I don't think that the Legion of Superheroes gets enough credit. So I wanted them to get featured tonight here in the retro review, and I will kick it off with their first appearance. Once again, this is Adventure Comics 247. So in our panel, we see Superboy, and he's like, who are these people, that have superpowers like I do? Wow, kids with only one superpower each can do super feats equal to any of mine, he says. So as we start the story on the next page, Clark Kent's walking and there's this boy he doesn't know. And he's like, hello there, Superboy. And he's like, that's odd. He's pretending like he doesn't know what he's talking about. He's like, you think I'm Superboy? That's a good one. Ha ha. And then that night when he's out on patrols, he's been thinking about that. While he's out on patrols, he flies around and he sees another kid who says, hi, Clark Kent. And he's like, uh-oh, another boy seems to know my secret. I'll pretend to ignore him as if he's wrong. And then he sees a girl who says, Superboy, give my regards to Mr. and Mrs. Kent, your foster parents, when you return home. And he's thinking, great guns, a girl too. Does everybody know the truth now? But they soon tell him that they're not just any ordinary kids. They are from the future, from the 30th century. And they're superheroes. Like him. They're part of a group called the Legion of Superheroes, and they want Superboy to come back with them to join. He would be the greatest superhero of us all, they say. And he says, why, I just do my job. So they go in a time bubble, and they proceed into the future. And when they arrive in the future, 1,000 years into the future, Superboy is like, wow, look at this. Smallville is a super city now. And they're like, no, it's just a town, Superboy. You should see the big cities of the future time and what they look like. So as they head over in the future now, they get a little bit of a tour, and they're seeing, the home, the ancient home of Clark Superboy Kent in the 20th century, how that had been preserved. They see that there was a Superboy robot that was created to demonstrate his superpowers, to teach people about Superboy and Superman. And they arrive at the Legion's clubhouse, and they say, we want you to follow the club rules to prove that you're a superhero so we can initiate you. So they introduce Superboy to the other people in there. And one thing I should mention too, Lightning Lad is called Lightning Boy in this issue, and it's the only time here in his first appearance that he's ever been referred to as Lightning Boy, but throughout the entire issue, that's his name. They changed it to Lightning Lad after this appearance. So what they say is Superboy, to gain his initiation, to gain into this group, is that he has to go against a member to, save something or fix something or whatever it is. But, that member only has one power. He can use all of his powers. And if he defeats that member and saves the day, then he's going to get, he's going to join the Legion. So as they turn on their television monitor, they see there's a statue of an unknown spaceman that sank last week. It's a priceless museum piece. So Saturn Girl and Superboy decide to take off on this mission. Well, as they take off, and incidentally, the Legion uses jetpacks to fly in this issue. They would end up using Legion flight rings in the future. So this is another kind of one-off from their very first appearance that got changed. But as they go off to fly off, Superman realizes that the Superboy robot, something went wrong with it, and it's running away. It's worth $1 million. So he realizes he needs to go stop that first, instead of, there'd be enough time for him still to go get that sunken statue. So he goes to stop this Superboy robot, and he finally is able to get it defeated. But in the meantime, Saturn Girl is down there. She's able to get the statue and recover it and kind of give a little ribbing to Superboy. She only has one superpower. He has all these superpowers. Now, Superboy doesn't tell her that, that he stopped to take care of another crisis that was going on. He says, if I tell about the runaway robot delaying me, it would sound like a weak alibi. So that's why he chooses not to. So the next task is upon them. And it is around the world, there's a rocket liner has crashed, and the crew and the passengers escape with flying jets, but the burning wreck will set fire to the forest. So they go to stop that. And as Superboy takes off, with Cosmic Boy, Superboy notices there's a satellite that's plummeting to Earth, and he's got to take care of that too, because that's going to be, it's going to create a lot of damage. So he takes care of it. He uses it to plug up a volcano hole. But in the meantime, Cosmic Boy, he didn't need Superboy to help save the day. He uses magnetic powers as superpowers with a flock of iron meteors to fill the lake. And that ended up the water splashing over and put out the forest fire. So there wasn't a problem. So now we're at Superboy losing twice. And once again, he doesn't tell that, something else delayed him because he thinks that's a weak alibi. So with Lightning Boy, they take off into space because there is a rocket that has a damaged fuel line and they need to get it back. But Superboy realizes that an invisible eagle of Neptune escaped from a museum and crashed this huge hole. And if they don't get this eagle taken care of, it could, since it's invisible, planes could bump into it or whatever. So he goes to deal with that, and he goes and gets this ice glacier, and he ends up with his heat vision. He makes it as transparent as a window pane, which as it melts down, it covers the eagle, so the eagle's visible now, so people can see it. But Lightning Boy is able to get a message out to the crew, ahoy, Nova Express, your fuel tank is leaking, return for repairs. So he wins the challenge. So back in the clubhouse, they say 3 times you failed in the contest, Superboy, so we're going to reject you from the Legion of Superheroes. And he says, gulp, but I still won't try to alibi my way out of this. I'll just take it with a smile. And he kind of says, well, no hard feelings on my part. And then he's thinking to himself, how will I ever tell them back in Smallville that their superhero flunked out of the superhero club? Sob. And as he gets ready to leave, Saturn Girl says, wait, Superboy, come back. And he's like, but I don't understand. I've been rejected. And she's like, no, you're a member, Superboy. We only gave you a bad time as your initiation. We deliberately decoyed you elsewhere during the contest. For instance, when you raced away on our job, that she secretly beamed a telepathic command to the electronic brain of the robot Superboy because she wanted to see what he would do, if he would fly and take care of that. And then Cosmic Boy talked about his magnetic vision pulled that satellite out of the sky. And Lightning Boy said that he used a bolt of lightning to burst a hole into the roof, which allowed the invisible eagle to escape. It was just his initiation to prove that he's a super good sport. So he was supposed to take it with a smile. And they say, hooray for Superboy, our newest member. And then suddenly, the South Pole City heated up by a giant cosmic lamp, but it burned out and the tower is toppling. We can't get there in time. So what he does is he uses a meteor from space, which will attract it, which will attract the rays. He also uses some seeds from the clouds for some heat lightning to warm the city up while he's doing that. And then he used some of his telepathic powers as well, although I forget how. But essentially what he did was he used each one of the powers that the 3 Legionnaires used in that they possess. So instead of just taking it and putting it straight back up and using his heat vision, he used the powers like the Legion has. And he mastered magnetism, lightning, and mind reading tricks to duplicate their powers. So all in one job, he earned the Legion's highest award. He heads back to his time, his own Earth, and he tells his dad, gosh, Dad, I'll still have this honored reputation 1,000 years from now in 30th century Smallville. And he shows him his superhero #1 award. And that is the story we're covering. There's 2 other stories in this issue that we won't be covering in the retro review. One is an Aquaman and one is a Green Arrow, and Little Pete.
And Little Pete.
That is the Legion of Superheroes' very first appearance.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Very cool. Wouldn't that create some kind of time paradox?
I would think so.
Yeah. Story's unrealistic. Sorry.
Mm-hmm.
Very interesting. Mine was a little bit more current. What year did yours come out?
58.
58. This one came out in 1998.
Okay.
So very cool. This one is the Legion of Superheroes. Where there's lightning, there's thunder. We kick things off with a big boom, and it's Mon-El in space. He realizes, wait a minute, I heard an explosion. I'm in space. It can't be a thing. And then he notices we cut to the little ship where Brainiac, what is it, 5?
Yeah, Brainiac 5.
Brainiac 5, and I cannot remember this guy's name. That is the Invisible Kid. Are at the ship trying to figure out where this explosion came from. Mon-El is able to fly there and see this young lady who looks a lot like Mary Marvel. We got to get her to the med bay. He goes to grab her, and then she pushes him away. He radios back to Legion of Superheroes. Hey, we follow this person. We got to figure out where they went. We cut to Fawcett World, which, by the way, being the professor of the multiverse, is not real. I mean, not real in like it's not like Earth number whatever. I think they mean Thunder World when they mean Fawcett World, but that's irrelevant. We cut there, and it is Tawny, the talking tiger. He's holding the line against not Dr. Savannah. This is Dr. Savant. interesting. So a little amalgam of two characters. And they are on a mission from science to this is the scientific and the brothers and sisters of science. Sorry. Dr. Savant. So they are attacking the Rock of Eternity, and you can see their battle cry is for science. Which, okay. Everybody knows that science and magic are great friends. So they get into the Rock of Eternity. They start taking samples, and this Mary Marvel character finally arrives back on her world. She's quickly followed behind Mon-El and the rest of the Legion to say, listen, the Rock of Eternity here is under attack. We have to save it. And this particular part of the story crosses over into Power of Shazam number 44. So if you're curious about that backstory, you can check that out for yourself. And she's talking about the power of the Rock of Eternity, what it does, what it means, how it gave her power, how it helped her family, including this Earth's Billy Batson transforming into Shazam. There was a big fight, and she's all that's left. And I assume this is Black Adam, and he has blonde hair, and it makes me laugh. Legion of Superhero brings everyone to Fawcett World, gives them a quick debrief. And they say, listen, we really have to defend this Rock of Eternity. If it goes down, all the magic across the known universe goes down with it. So they establish a great defense. They bring in all the Legion of Superheroes. I did see Balloon Boy in one of these panels too. Little throwback to olden Legion folks. But Mary Marvel breaks into the Rock of Eternity to help free the actual wizard Shazam, but she is thrown back by the evil Dr. Savant. And right before he pulls the trigger to kill her, Mon-El jumps in front of it, takes the shot. He's fine, so she decides she's going after him herself. So she flies into him. Huge explosion. It is now, they have these readings inside that say, there was a huge explosion. What was going on? The magic is, it's safe. Once the smoke clears, we have her holding on to Dr. Savant. And the crisis is over. They reconvene on the ship for a celebratory meal. And there we have our last page here, all going their separate ways.
Cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Good story. I chose this for a reason, and I'll show you why if I can find it. Because I definitely recommend heading down to your local shop. Let me stop sharing here so I'm a little bit bigger, and pick up the new Champion of Shazam book, which features Mary Marvel as the main hero in the that part of the world. So very cool. I thought it was appropriate since we're talking Legion of Superheroes. I like talking about the Shazam family. Pick was easy.
There's some good covers on that issue too, including the incentive covers.
Oh, for the new Champions of Shazam? I'll have to check it out.
Yeah.
All they had was the A cover. They got nothing else.
Okay.
Art by Doc Shaner, cover by Doc Shaner. Hopefully he makes another appearance this year at Baltimore Comic-Con, as I would love to get him to sign this one.
Yeah. Yeah. Some good stuff. Good artwork there.
Yes.
Mon-El's a cool character. I enjoyed him on the Supergirl TV show when CW did that. The episodes he was on seemed to be better. I had hoped that when the actor, I think Chris Wood, if I'm not mistaken, married Melissa Benoist, that we would be seeing much more of him on the show. And instead, we saw much less of him on the show.
That's true. That's true.
Hey, meow, Joel. Yeah.
Meow.
Yeah, but that's cool. So Fawcett World, did they call it?
They called it Fawcett World.
So that's supposed to be in honor of Fawcett City then.
Yes. Yes. But the only thing that I can think of that's close to Fawcett World that we have would be Earth 9 is Thunderworld. It's Shazam only world. No Justice League, just the Shazam League.
Yeah. Well, my GPS can't even take me to Funky Town, so.
You hang a left at Albuquerque. That's all I know.
Oh, okay. Well, awesome. So, what are your general thoughts of Legion of Superheroes?
It's a group that I don't get a whole lot of experience with, but I'm about to, and I'll get into that here once we do our book show. But yeah, it's not something I normally pick up, just because I know it's in the future and stuff like that. I don't know why I'm not really into that, but I just never could get into them.
I like them, but I don't have a whole lot of them. And there's a lot of other characters too. And certainly the characters evolve from their first appearance that I retro reviewed. Although those characters did. I kind of enjoyed it when Supergirl was a member of the Legion of Superheroes, but that's probably because I just like Supergirl, And most of the Legion comic books that I have are from that era when Supergirl was a member. Although I did get, the big treasury size Legion of Superboy and the Legion of Superheroes from the Bronze Age with the wedding of Lightning Lad and Saturn Girl. And that was a really good read. And the artwork was really good on that.
Yeah. I think that's some of the more stories that I know from Legion of Superheroes has been when Supergirl was part of that.
Yeah.
Which character is better? Superman or Superboy?
You can answer too, Tony. You can go first. I already have my answer.
Oh, man. Superman.
Exactly.
Superman. Without Superman, there is no Superboy.
The big blue Boy Scout.
Yep. The OG.
OG. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Are you going to be getting that facsimile they're doing of Action Comics #1 and Detective Comics 27 separate releases?
Only if they do an acetate cover.
I can make you one.
I want one that's so not worth the money, and I want to pay at least $50 more than.
Oh, I'll make you one for $50.
Okay, the Lasso exclusive.
Yeah,
you heard it here, folks. Yeah, count me in. But I probably won't. I'm not really into facsimiles. When I do get them on the occasion, I just, there's usually a kid in my LCS, and I'll just give him something to read. You know what I mean? Something to take home. Yeah. Hopefully he'll get into the books. But yeah, I don't do facsimiles or reprints. Okay. I don't even do second prints on things.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Jedi, hello, by the way. So earlier this week, it was my turn to pick a story. And I was going to pick a story that is a 3-issue story arc. And there was going to be 3 of us and I double checked, Tony, didn't I? Didn't I say in the chat who is going to be on the show this weekend?
Yep, took a pre-roll call.
Tony said, I'm going to be on the show this weekend. And Fu said, I'm going to be on the show this weekend. I thought, perfect. I made my little thumbnail. I designed my little heart out, had it all ready. And then all of a sudden Fu was like, yeah, I'm not doing the show this weekend.
He's in Iowa.
He's in Iowa.
I just came from Iowa. This big.
And you just came from. See, you couldn't do the show when you were in Iowa as well. Am I noticing some type of a connection?
Yes,
Iowa. I could do the show when I lived close to Iowa.
Well, you weren't in Iowa. You were just literally on the wrong side of the river.
I could see it. I was that close.
Yeah. Now, if you would have went there, you'd have noticed that nothing works. The internet doesn't work. Your cell phone doesn't work.
Yeah.
And then you meet a whole bunch of children coming out of a cornfield. Don't go there.
Build it, and they will come.
Yes. For Malachi. For he who walks behind the rose.
Yep. So let's do book show and tell us what's going on content-wise on the Tony Fett channel.
Absolutely. Let me get severely disorganized. So I'm going to break down my book show a little bit. I know I showed this before, but it fits. Doc Shaner signed Convergence Shazam #1 with Jeff Parker. Same thing with issue 2. I know it's black ink on a mostly black cover, so that was a great idea. What is coming up on the channel? is this big gigantic stack that I have going right here. And as a quick preview, these are all coming with me so far to Baltimore Comic-Con. I was at 25 last night. I'm at 33 now.
Yeah, but you know what?
What's up?
You haven't added in the books I'm sending you to.
Oh, geez.
Take along.
Yeah, so I've got. I'm just going to show a couple of this one. It is
I
definitely
just totally invited myself in on that.
That's okay. I'll anytime, bro. Anytime. So it's gonna be a Wonder Woman heavy year again for me. 2 years in a row. Another Nubia. I've got this one is gonna be a good one. And I forget who I was gonna get to sign it. Hawkman
nice.
Found. Really excited for Liam Sharp to be in town. This is gonna be my first time meeting Liam Sharp. I've got plenty more for Liam Sharp to sign, but that's another story. But Brian Michael Bendis and the Legion of Superheroes. So that. Some other stuff here that I'm going to not show you until later on. But yeah, this is a heavy Wonder Woman book, including one that I'm very excited to get signed by Jim Chung and Mark Morales. Justice League #1. Mark Brooks Red Armor variant, limited to 3,000.
Yeah, that's a beautiful cover.
From the original Comic Fu mystery boxes.
Wow.
I'm excited. Get excited. They're also going to sign my Batman #1 Jim Lee variant. And Jim Lee is actually also going to be there, but I'm not going to get him to sign anything because it's $500 to get him to sign the books I want. So no thanks. But that's what's coming up on my channel. I'm going to dive into why I'm bringing these, why I'm choosing these specifically. And this stack is going to continue to grow. I guarantee it. From your collection and also from mine. I've already surpassed the books that I brought last year, and it's August. Baltimore Comic-Con isn't until Halloween. So
you're going to have a busy day.
And I'm only there one day.
You're going to have a busy day.
And I'm going to be with 2 kids.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
Our stroller is going to be putting on a lot of miles.
Yeah, I bet it is.
And it's going to be fun. This is going to be my daughter's first big convention experience. So there's going to be a video about that, video about these books, and some other stuff that to be determined. So got lots of stuff coming down the pipeline.
Cool. You can subscribe to Tony's channel. The link is in the description for this video, as well as the other missing fanboys. I still included the links to their channels in there, so you can be nice and throw a bone their way too.
My kids are 3 years old and 7 months. But at the time of Comic-Con, my kids will be 4 years old and 9 months. So very exciting.
So on my channel, this past week, I dropped an AOK video from my friend Andre in Brazil. And, he always sends some awesome stuff. And one of those I'm going to show right now is my book show. Do you remember what I said I was going to do for book show in the private chat, Tony?
I don't remember.
I said I was going to do a revenge book show.
Yes, I remember now.
For Comic Fu not being here, I was going to do something revenge. Here we go. My book show. Look at that. That is a Brazilian exclusive from a convention back in 2014. Green Lantern and Green Arrow.
That's cool.
Yeah, there's a whole series of these. So far, Andre's gotten me the Batman one, the Wonder Woman one, this one, and the Superman one, which I put on Instagram earlier this week. I think there's one book left, which is a Justice League book. On the front, it has the heroes, and then it's the only one that has a wraparound. On the back, it's got the villains.
That's so cool, man.
So I'm just missing one to have the full set.
Who does it list the content creators on there?
I think this is Garcia Lopez stock art. So I'm pretty sure it is. Hey, Nashhead, thanks for stopping by. It's good to see you as well. But that's my book show. On my channel,
That's going to make somebody very jealous, by the way, including myself.
And you know what? I'm keeping that one.
Including myself.
That's not going to Foo. I'm keeping that one.
Well, that's not only does he not have it, that's going to be very hard to get at a convention exclusive in Brazil.
Yeah, from 2014.
From 2014. That's hard. That's going to be very hard to get.
Yeah.
Very cool. Very jealous.
Yeah. No problem, Nosh. Speaking of new jobs and new careers and new lives, and it sounds almost what I'm about to say is like the Who's the Boss theme song, a brand new life around the bend. I have a video coming out. Instead of doing a comic book editions video this week, I have a video that ties into comic books that kind of talks about how my life has changed, and I have literally come full circle with comic books. I just realized this, and I share that in a video that's going to be dropping Tuesday afternoon on my channel. It's one of the most important videos I think I've done, so I hope you get a chance to check that out and watch that and realize some things that I've been up to lately. I've been working really hard on something, and I'm finally ready to spill the details. So that's coming on Tuesday afternoon. And then there'll be another cover by video with Just a Little Podcast and Comics for Thomas this upcoming week. I believe we're talking She-Hulk and picking a She-Hulk cover since the She-Hulk series is dropping this upcoming week. Oh, happy belated birthday, Nosh. I didn't know. Yesterday was your birthday.
Happy birthday, bud.
Wow, that's awesome. Hope you had some cake and ice cream. In honor of your birthday, Tony will now sing happy birthday to you. Take it away, Tony.
In Dutch.
In Dutch.
I don't know Dutch.
Okay.
I can do Swedish, though. You want to hear it in Swedish?
Go for it.
I learned all of my Swedish from the Swedish chef.
Okay, the one that makes the meatballs. Give
That's
us
all I
some
know.
more.
That's all I got.
Go again. Well, I hope you had a great birthday, and thanks for celebrating the day after with us. We're just getting ready to wrap up the show. Catch the rewind. Once again, if you were watching on the rewind all the way to the end, that's pretty awesome. You know Foo's not watching this. He's not seen that revenge book that I showed on him.
Yes, and nobody tag him either. We want to see if he watches the show.
He doesn't. If he would have watched,
okay.
If he would have watched my channel video earlier this week, he would have already seen it, and he would have said something to me, and he didn't watch.
I listen to a lot of not only your videos, but like everybody's videos in the community while I'm at plugging away at work. So I enjoy everybody's content.
Yeah,
I went to a
so
restaurant
subscribe to everyone
Texas.
that's in the chat, and I'm just giving hard times.
Yeah, lots of good content creators I've seen. Some of you I've never heard of. Nosh Head, I've never seen.
Oh, Nosh is great. Nosh loves.
Never heard of Nosh. Never heard of Stephen M.
Oh, Stephen's great.
Joel the Geek, I know. I follow him on Instagram. I don't think we've had too many interactions, but lots of cool people in the chat. Cookie, I know. I think I've heard of I Collect a Lot. But I don't know.
Yeah. So that brings us to the end of another Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. Next week, we'll probably be on Comic Food 2814's channel unless Iowa says no. If for some reason, then it'll be back on mine. But I think, yes, Joel the Geek is on YouTube too.
Oh, I didn't know that. So I'll have to check out your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Joel the Geek. Sure. Everybody sub up Joel the Geek.
Yeah.
He's the subscriber of the day.
Tony, I think it will be your pick for next week's Retro Review. So
all right. I'm going to
start thinking about what you want to do, and then had the rug pulled out from under you when Foo says I'm not going to be on the show.
All right. But we'll send him the bill.
Bitter table for one.
Yes.
Okay, that wraps up today's Fanboys Live in the Retro Review. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend, and thank you again